Hey guys, greetings to all Flamengo fans. This is Flamengo. Welcome to the Paparazzo Rubro Negro channel. Today I'm here, after the match, I'm here at TV Connect USA. It's a place where I'll keep being invited to take part from now on, bringing a lot of information about soccer, Flamengo, Brazilian soccer, and the World Cup. And I'm here, man, to talk to you. I had to start this video here. Now we're going to show a highlight from Placar. Very interesting. Bandera talking about Fabiano Bandera, who talks about Botafogo, and he's talking about a very interesting topic. He ended up talking about Flamengo. We give our opinions on other topics, right? He shared information no one else mentioned.
Felipe Luis really wanted the signing of Caio Jorge.
They didn't sign him. And today, look at what Leonardo Jardim is doing with Pedro. Pedro, who is already the leading scorer of the century at the Maracanã for Flamengo and everything else. Brazil, 162 goals, and he's on fire, right? He's on fire. But I want to remind you of something. Look, I'll be participating here this afternoon on TV Connect. You can start following me too, and everyone here as well, by downloading the TV Connect app. I'll bring our Placar highlights soon. I'm going to talk about this situation, Lele from Palmeiras targeting Flamengo. The shoe fits. It's impressive. We're going to talk about all of this, right? I'm going to call someone over. Come here. Don't take it off. Don't take it off. I know that this, oh, Gabi, I know that this jacket bothers you a little because it's prickly. I know, right? Your son loved it. No, not at all. Your son was with me. She put the outfit on his lap and he was about to cry, so I had to calm him down. The girl looked beautiful.
I sang an anthem for him.
He didn't like it. He was crying. He's crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy. I want to know the following. To expose yourself, you do the C, right?
C for whom?
For the tricolor fans and for who? No, it's...
Look, Flint, your friend.
Look, our collabs work. Even though it's Flamengo and Palmeiras, our collabs work because, man, that's 3 million there, right?
Out of every 10 posts you make, 7 are about Palmeiras. What's going on?
No, out of every 10 posts about Palmeiras, 9 are about Flamengo.
No, guys, is he becoming Palmeiras paparazzo now?
No, there already is one. Someone copied me. Oh, really?
But he's going to steal from you?
But do you know why?
Let me see if the green looks good.
No, it doesn't look good. Do you know what happens? No, green makes my eyes look droopy. Okay.
Oh, I know.
So it's only good for that. Yes, but also green eyes on an ugly face don't help. But let's go.
Oh, crap. Neymar is the one who says that phrase?
He teaches that in the favela? Really? But look, what's going on with Palmeiras? All they think about is Flamengo. You're a Palmeiras fan, but what's happening with Palmeiras? That only thinks about Flamengo, man.
Man, we had a tough year last year.
Oh, so it still hurts?
I'm still not over it.
Lima, does it still hurt?
Danilo, right? That's your name? I remember Danilo very well, you know? So here's the thing. It's the biggest rivalry in soccer nowadays.
That's good too, isn't it?
It's good because it fuels things, but with respect, right? You see that the derby has even lost.
She's referring to the Corinthians versus Palmeiras derby.
Corinthians and Palmeiras lost their essence there on the field. It went off the field because the game that draws attention nowadays is between whom?
Flamengo and Palmeiras. Want to know what impressed me most? There was Corinthians and Palmeiras, a draw, a tense game, fights, a lot of things, and Palmeiras comes out in public the next day to provoke Flamengo instead of arguing with Corinthians. Flamengo.
And yes, because Flamengo and Palmeiras continues, because then what's the issue? It's off the field too.
But Opina Porco did well. He said,
He is wonderful.
Neto, he said the following, that while Palmeiras stays... Actually, was it Deonero? Was he praising Deonero?
That it was fair. That even being a Palmeiras fan, they're so consistent. It's too much. There's a lot of complaining.
He praised the previous administrations because of Paulo Nobre. He praised the previous administrations. Why? Because they were energetic, they held a press conference, solved things, and didn't keep poking at each other like this.
Exactly.
Because Flamengo, dear.
Let me tell you, dear, you call Layla dear.
You know, they follow along. Look at that, dear. No, you really are dear. Dear Gabi Pasqualino. Look, let me tell you something. Flamengo, Boto, at no time did Boto ever post that. I got the point. He didn't mention Palmeiras, just those complaining, Cuca and everyone else, I know. Then Palmeiras posted Boto using Flamengo's video, the shoe fit.
But it's because there's too much off-field stuff, Gabrielle. It has to be more about the game, energy on the field. Why waste so much off the field? So because then someone cursed someone, because then they hit a Palmeiras player in the tunnel, because then they moved up the game when they shouldn't have actually postponed it. I don't know what else, but anyway, did they go to the derby against Corinthians?
And then Palmeiras goes there again.
2 more and doesn't score a goal.
Man, yeah, and then Palmeiras, instead of scoring the goal, goes there to complain about a penalty on social media. It was a penalty. No. And what about Flavio's elbow? Man, Carrascal got 4 games for much less than that.
No, one thing. No. What happened? Do you want to compare one play to another? No, it has to be settled right there.
Man,
So I'm not supposed to react just because he threw an elbow?
did the other one give it to Palmeiras or Palmeiras? Palmeiras?
Because it's Flamengo.
See? There you go. See? So guys, look, you guys are going to follow the show. You can download it because there will be many days when we'll be together, right? I like it better this way when there's no logo, it's better.
With your color, it's because I brought my little pig trophy today, which we're going to leave there on the table.
No problem. No, I don't have it. Wait for it. Guys, she left and my pig doesn't scare me. Like they say, the pig doesn't scare me. It doesn't scare me, okay? Guys, that's it. The fans obviously are making fun of Palmeiras because Palmeiras posted, the video of Jose Boto. And man, I want to invite you to always join us here to follow TV Connect with us, okay? We're always here. She's trying to get my son to like Palmeiras, but he won't like it. Hey, actor. Hey, actor, don't look at that, okay? That's ugly, all right? It's ugly. It's ugly. The thing is red and black, my friend. Look. She's singing a Palmeiras song to him. God forbid, man. Are you crazy? Look. Sha la 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 la. Look at Palmeiras posting about Flamengo. They got really rattled. Little Palmeiras got really rattled. Little Varmera got really rattled. The fans are like this. Look. They're laughing a lot. Saying there's more posts about it. Oh, look at that. Here. Look, here. Look, here. Your little friends already came. There are more posts from Palmeiras here than from Flamengo. Yesterday's Fla-Flu. Who's feeling it? Look at that. You're fooling me. They go crazy. They get all worked up, man. Yeah. They want engagement. Botafogo de São Paulo never gets tired of embarrassing itself. There you go. Someone just called them Botafogo de São Paulo here, huh? Hey, Gabi, Botafogo de São Paulo, Palmeiras. People here are calling it Chororô. No, Palmeiras is Botafogo de São Paulo. Cry, baby. The best part is the comments. All about Danilo's goal. They still haven't gotten over Danilo's goal. No facts, Flamengo. Without facts, it's Flamengo. The biggest champion in Brazil is Flamengo. Guys, it's a pleasure to be here, okay? And bringing you all the information about Mengao, always. But I want to ask you to follow TV Connect here as well. But man, how rattled Palmeiras got, right? Let's check out our scoreboard highlight now. Remember, we're here thanks to Caravana do Haroldo. You can also secure your spot at Flamengo's games all over Brazil and the world. And of course, Mais Cabello. Man, lose weight in a healthy way with Mais Cabello. I'm getting slimmer, thank God, and very healthy. Mais Slinda program and also Mais Cabello. You can get a free evaluation right now. And there's Mais Cabello Clinic everywhere in Brazil. Come check out Mais Cabello right now. And if I'm here in the States, if I'm on TV Connect, you who want to invest can do it too, right? And if you have a house, a car, and you don't have insurance, contact AIP Florida right now.
Hi, Elan. I think there's still a chance, especially because he was about to be called up when he got injured, right? And there was an expectation. Ancelotti himself said that he could be called up in March, but because of the injury, he started the season at a slower pace, right? And now is the moment when he's physically well. And in the next few weeks, I would say, there are important games coming up for Flamengo, including Libertadores matches and Brazilian Championship games. I think that will end up deciding it. The way he's been playing for Flamengo today, the way Leonardo Jardim has fit him into Flamengo, I think he would work really well as an option for the Brazilian national team for if you need to change something during the game, because Brazil has a lot of strengths and Pedro's hold-up play is outstanding. It's amazing. And a team that today doesn't have a midfielder like the Brazilian national team, Pedro has been playing many times. He drops back for Flamengo. He plays almost like a midfielder, providing passes like he did for Gonzalo Plata, for the wingers. But Flamengo's wingers aren't those top-scoring wingers. They're not those top-tier wingers, unlike the Brazilian national team, which has wingers of a very high level. And having a player like him who plays the role he's been playing at Flamengo can make a difference. Like that, in a tougher game, in a more difficult match, drawing defenders to him, creating space. Anyway.
I think there's still... I laughed, hey Elon, at the picture of Pedro celebrating below where rowing is forbidden. Do you have it? I didn't see the picture. No, from Flamengo's fans. The previous picture, man, amazing.
Look there, rowing is forbidden.
Is there still time for Pedro to join the national team? Being really realistic, speaking of time, I wanted to ask João, I'm going to say it here while I'm commenting, I wanted to ask Joãozinho to pull up what I sent. I think I sent it, Leonardo Jardim talking about Pedro. He took a jab at Felipe Luis, right? At everyone who was commenting about pressure and all that. I believe there's still plenty of time with many games before the World Cup. Pedro doesn't need to be tested. He's already played in the World Cup and performed well when he did. He took and scored his penalty. He had few opportunities, but he came on in the World Cup with a lot of confidence. So I think he's a player who's already been to a World Cup. He's a player who doesn't need to be tested. Everyone already knows his quality. He has really a lot of quality to even fight for a starting spot in the Brazilian national team because he's the kind of player we don't have. As Garoni said very well, I think Pedro will go to the World Cup. Where's the statement? I think Pedro will go to the World Cup since he's a finalist. Yeah, it's from Leonardo Jardim. Let's go. He's taking a jab at Felipe Luis.
And honestly, I don't want to talk about the past. I want to talk about the present. We know Pedro and we demand a certain behavior from him, and he is managing to show the behavior we expect from him. And besides that, he is scoring goals like the good striker he is. We are satisfied with his performance, but mainly with his attitude, because that was one of the things I used to hear a lot here. When I arrived, people said Pedro didn't know how to press. I think Pedro is showing that he is a complete player, defensively, offensively, in the build-up, in link-up play, and in finishing as well. And for sure, he is an important player for us when we want to play this way. When we want to play more in transition, we have Alassian, we have Pedro, we have BH. Like it was in the last game at altitude, and I think we will have the options. If they are all fit, we have options according to our needs.
I thought it was a compliment to Pedro and a direct, not even that indirect, almost a direct shot at Felipe Luis. Would you still take Pedro to the World Cup, Garon? Is there still time? Yeah.
I think there is still time. Yes, I think it's very open. Looking at the last call-up, we had Hendrik, João Pedro, and Igor Thiago. If I'm not mistaken, those were the three. Richardson had also been called up, but he lost his spot, and Rodrigo is injured. So, for me, Hendrik has to go. Every time he was called up to the national team, he always delivered results. He's playing really well at Lyon, period. João Pedro is performing well at Chelsea, but he hasn't convinced me with the Brazilian national team. He hasn't proven himself as a national team player, so I can't say João Pedro is the one for the World Cup or will deliver. Igor Thiago offers more physical presence than others. Pedro has good height, but isn't particularly strong in physical duels. So I think João Pedro's spot for me is more threatened in that sense. Because like Leonardo Jardim said, Pedro has been playing well outside the box, and Pedro's hold-up play is incredible. So he doesn't have to be that more fixed number 9 like Igor Thiago would be, for example. He can be something in between a Hendrik, who's a very mobile number 9, and Igor Thiago, who's a more physical penalty box striker. And Pedro is a guy who gives you those options to drop back a little, and he's an experienced guy. He has already been to a World Cup, even though he didn't play regularly or start, but he was there. He knows what it's like to wear the Brazilian national team jersey and face crucial moments for the team. Man, if he plays like he did yesterday, for me, there's no reason he shouldn't go just because he's in Brazil. And I think even the comment someone sent in the super chat was along those lines like, oh, Pedro is in Brazil and all, nobody in Europe wants him. Davidson made his career in Europe, and nobody says Davidson plays better than Pedro. I think it's unanimous with respect to Davidson. Davidson scored goals against Real Madrid and Barcelona, spent most of his career in Spain, and also played in Germany. William Jose spent his entire career in Spain, but no one considers him better than Pedro. I see no debate about it.
Pedro and João Pedro played together at Fluminense in 2019.
Playing in Europe, for me, isn't what qualifies someone to go to the World Cup. And in the national team, João Pedro used to play on the wing. João Pedro wasn't a center forward.
João Pedro is 24 years old and Pedro is 28. Juan Pedro was just coming up when Pedro was being sold by Fluminense to Juventus, right? So Pedro was already more established. He was a little more settled there. Abel made Pedro a starter at Fluminense. Pedro, as incredible as it may seem, at the beginning of his career, he was a guy that people didn't really believe in. He didn't start well at Fluminense. I criticized him. Today, I think he's a great player, but he didn't start well. And Abelão, I have several criticisms of Abelão, but Abelão backed him. He said, this guy is going to be a big name in Brazilian football. He backed him and really gave Pedro confidence, and Pedro started to shine. He was even called up to the Brazilian national team when he had that first serious injury at Fluminense. And then after recovering from a long injury period, he ended up being sold. I think that started around 2017 or 2018, and in 2019, he was sold. In 2019, Juan Pedro and Marcos Paulo were there, and Marcos Paulo later faded away. They were the standout prospects coming up through Fluminense's youth academy. Pedro was still at Fluminense, so they're contemporaries, but at different career stages.
Pedro has an intelligence that, to me, is very rare for a striker. We see a lot of strikers. They're the guys who score a lot of goals. You look at the numbers, then you see the goals there, that decisive pass, that touch almost inside the 6-yard box. Man, Pedro has a lot of skills. You see Pedro scoring goals with his head, chest, from outside the box, from the edge of the box, goals attacking the far post, goals holding up the play and turning to shoot with his left foot, with his right foot. Man, he wins in the air. He wins on the ground. Man, I think Pedro has a lot of tools. He's that futsal player you see who also succeeds in the outdoor game. And it's not just a coincidence, you know. He has the structure for this type of game. I'm a big fan of Pedro. It's about consistency. If Pedro hadn't lost time, Flamengo also started the year badly. We need to remember that. Pedro had a rough start to the year, and despite winning the Carioca Championship, Flamengo's soccer was poor. Flamengo started with reserves, later used starters, didn't impress in several games, and lost 2 finals. So there was that question, but now with Flamengo playing better, I think the tendency is for Pedro to stand out more as well. And in this final stretch, I think everything will still be wide open.
Bandera, would you still take Pedro to the World Cup? One last question for Garone, since he brought up Pedro. I wanted his opinion on that too. Don't you think, Garone, that he still has an advantage because of everything you mentioned, and also because he still provides a lot of assists? That key match for Flamengo last season against Palmeiras, that pass he gave to Arrascaeta, the intelligence he also has to set up his teammates.
That's a level of skill that's very rare for a striker, not just a striker who's only a goal scorer. Pedro knows how to play. Pedro has the skills to play like that. Maybe he doesn't have the physique to play several positions, to be a winger, to be a number 10, but the technical ability to be the guy for the final pass, to play with his back to goal, he definitely has that.
Let's go, Bandera.
If he maintains this pace until the final call-up, there's no reason not to take him, as he has plenty of repertoire and resources. But for me, he's going to have a hard time because he came into this form relatively late, thinking about the World Cup, and Ancelotti has been considering fewer options at striker. He's been playing a lot in this 4-2-4 using 2 wingers, using an attacking midfielder as a forward, so the coach himself has been reducing the possibility of taking more strikers. So, I don't know if by chasing after it, Pedro will still be able to make it. Now, he does have technical quality. And to quickly move from Pedro to the coach's merit, that's the point. Leonardo Jardim's discernment, whether he gave direct instructions to Felipe Luis or not. Leonardo Jardim worked at Cruzeiro with Caio Jorge and helped Caio Jorge reach his potential, who has a completely different style from Pedro. And Caio Jorge was very important for Cruzeiro in 2025. So much so that Felipe Luis almost insisted that Flamengo spend a lot of money, because in the playing style Felipe Luis had in mind, Caio Jorge is the key center forward, or someone with Caio Jorge's style. Then Flamengo couldn't buy Caio Jorge. Felipe Luis left. Leonardo Jardim, who had helped Caio Jorge reach his potential, arrived at Flamengo and looked, hey, I have Pedro here. It's a completely different profile, so what am I going to do? I'm going to adapt the team to play with this guy who is way above the norm. I'm going to play with Pedro.
Maybe even better than Caio Jorge.
Jardim is there. He coached Caio Jorge. This one is really good. My team will play like this. He joined Flamengo. This one is also really good with a different style. My team will play like this. And now Pedro is playing really well and Flamengo keeps improving. I don't know if Leonardo Jardim will keep helping Pedro reach his potential, but that's likely because he's a good coach and Pedro is a very good striker.
If we don't move on, this show could last until tomorrow. Let's just clap now. Can I clap for Bandera for the first time on the show? That was a spectacular comment. Bandera, did you come up with that? I'm making a clip for my channel and I insist on it. You explained something I haven't seen elsewhere, and your explanation was very thoughtful, because that's exactly it. he brought out the best in Caio Jorge. Felipe wanted to sign Caio Jorge and didn't think he could bring out the best in Pedro. Look at the craziness. Look at the coach Flamengo already has. This shows the value of Leonardo Jardim. A guy who comes to bring out the best in the players, not to try to poach the player who was developed by another team. Looks great. Thanks, man. Fantastic comment. Congrats, Bandera. Thanks. You're a standard bearer for journalism. Thank you. Very intelligent, man.
Entrou